This is the Finesse Media Podcast.
Everyone, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce you to the ultimate Southern Belle, my all-time favorite, the OG Braxton girl herself, my mommy, Miss Evelyn Braxton.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you having me. Thank you. Not for your uncle.
Absolutely. An honor and a privilege as it is. And welcome back to another episode of the Finesse Media Podcast, Season 4. I'm your host, Ken Finesse Media. And as I mentioned to you each and every week, I bring to you someone and something brand new. And on this episode, the final episode, can you believe it? We've done 21 plus episodes in this season. And so I thank you guys so much for your continuing support. But to end this season and to put the cherry on top, I'm talking with the foodie herself. Y'all know I love foodie, but she's a mother to so many people that you have seen her on screen, and she's a mother to 6 lovely children, and one that we know in the limelight, Miss Toni Braxton. Welcome to the podcast. For the first time joining me, Miss Evelyn Braxton.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Yes, I am so happy to have you and have this conversation with you, Miss Braxton, about your book. As I alluded to in the introduction, I'm a foodie. I'm from Chicago. We love food. I know you down in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. You want to follow me while I sit and eat? Grandma Sophie was 116 when she died. And I was 16 years old when my grandmother died. Great-grandmother died. Beautiful woman. And I loved just being with her because the wisdom this woman had was just incredible. Let me taste this. And I love cooking the food. And I'm glad you want to eat the food, for God's sake.
Yes.
Look at God.
Let's jump right into it, because in starting this book, and I know you've been cooking for a long time, but if you care to share, tell our viewers and myself also about Grandma Sophia, because that's kind of where some of this cooking came into play. I understand.
Oh, yes. My grandma Sophia, which is my great-great-grandmother, is my mother's grandmother. And so this woman was such a phenomenal woman and a great storyteller. So we would love to go and visit Grandma Sophie. And she lived in one of those old houses, those old brown houses. It was like one big room. And then she had this fireplace that's where she cooked a lot of things. And so she would tell us stories, and I just appreciate her. And she taught my mother a lot of recipes, and my mother passed it to us, or to me, basically, because my sisters know I'm the better cook.
You look at God.
Look at God. But yes, Grandma Sophie was a great inspiration in our lives.
And as I said, as you say, look at God author. And I don't know if Grandma Sophie or if it was your mom who gave you this inspiration, but I'm looking through the book, Mama E, if I can call you Mama E this episode.
Yeah, please.
Look at God cake. Tell me about this cake. Oh my God, this recipe will blow your mind.
Oh my God. Well, this is we're going to cut it short. I'm just going to hit this and that. But when I was around 9 years old, my mom was in the kitchen cooking as always, and she loved to cook. Beautiful woman with the round brown face, deep dimples. That's why when I see dimples, I think of my mom.
Yeah.
You have beautiful dimples. Salt and pepper hair down to the shoulders, in the hot kitchen sweating. And she sent me to the store, the corner store, to get a loaf of bread.
Was this in South Carolina?
This in South Carolina. I'm thinking it was a loaf of bread. It could have been something else, but in my memory and in my mind, it was a loaf of bread. So I walked to the store, and we didn't have to worry about anybody stealing us, being by yourself, because the neighborhood raised everybody, they were alert. So I'm walking to the store, and I get in the store, and they had a parrot. And the parrot said, in stealing. But when the whites would pick up any merchandise, parrot said absolutely nothing.
You got to be kidding.
So what does that tell me? That they train this parrot. And so I'm the first in the store and the last one to leave because they would wait on the whites first. It didn't matter if you were the first one in the store. So I'm in the line to pay for this bread and holding the bread. And the whole time the parrot is saying, in stealing. Oh, wow. Polly want a cracker. So that tells me that they rewarded the parrot. I'm devastated, just devastated, standing in line, tears running from my face. So finally, they waited on me and they took the money for the bread. Even as I was walking out of the door, the parrot said, in stealing, Polly want a cracker. I mean, tears was running down my face profusely. And I'm walking home and yes, I'm going to say the word snot all over the place. Hyperventilating, couldn't hardly breathe, just walking and crying. I finally got home and Mom was still in the kitchen. And I gave my mom the bread and she stopped and she looked down at me and she said, "Baby, what's wrong?" And I began to tell her what had happened when I went into the store. And I said, "Mom, why are they so much greater than me?" She said, "Baby, there's no one greater than you except God."
Absolutely.
And I grew up with that saying. And I tell my kids, there's no one, I'll tell you or anybody, there's no one greater than you except God.
Absolutely.
And so, she taught me that, I'm great too. You're special. You're wonderful. And just look at God. What happened was, and I'm going to tell you where look at God came from. After my mom talked to me and it admonished me and encouraged me, all I could say was, look at God. Now, I was 9 years old when I started to say that.
And you still say it.
Yes. And later on, I made a cake called Look at God.
So what's in this cake? I mean, I don't want to give the book away because people have to get this book. It's available where books are sold. Get Miss Cooking with Miss E. But Miss E, just tell the people what's in this cake. Look at God.
Well, now, when I formulated this cake, okay, I baked the cake. I got bananas. That's the white man. I'm just saying. I got strawberry. That's the red man.
Okay.
Blueberries. That's us. Okay.
Blackberries.
That's the mixture of people, because everybody is not, blueberries. Some people, so on and so forth, So what I did, I baked this cake that we could show the what God is doing when God made us, the diversity of people. And God does not care what color you are because he made all of us. So I put all of these ingredients in together to make a world for God's sake. So this is the world.
Absolutely. And as we and Miss Braxton, as we just got from celebrating Juneteenth yesterday, I mean, it's something else that you also put inside of your recipe book, which is freedom pie. And I understand that can't nobody come to your house, particularly the girls and whomever, they can't come to your house without getting a slice of this freedom pie.
I've been there, done that. Got a t-shirt and I won't wear it because it's too dirty. How about that? So people, the first thing we should do is pray. I know everybody's saying, well, that's what we do. We pray, and nothing happens. But I tell you what, yes, it does. It strengthens you. If you think it's not doing anything else, is strengthening you. How about that? And God is opening doors for us. Thank you for allowing me to come into your kitchen. And as always, thank you for cooking with Miss E. That's right. And during the holidays is what I make. And it's from Grandma Sophie. That's another story. So if you come to visit me, you have to have a little sliver of this freedom pie.
I'll have the whole slice. So, if I'm at Miss Braxton's house, I'm having the whole slice.
The whole slice, absolutely. But the story that Grandma told, that she was 8 years old when she came out of slavery. Okay, Grandma Sophie. And she said she was already spoiled. You know what that means, right?
Yes, ma'am.
She was already taking advantage. Her identity was already taken. And she said that when they freed the slaves, Grandpa was determined not to stay on the plantation. You know, a lot of people stayed and they became sharecroppers because they had nowhere else to go. What else could they do? This was a way of life for them. And so freedom, okay, we got freedom. What do we eat? Where do we live? Where do we go, for God's sakes? But Grandpa took it within himself and he hit the road, Jack, as they say, hit the road, Jack. But anyway, to make a long story short, and they had to be very careful and they had to hide in the woods, but because although they were free, they were still hunted, they were still killed, they were still raped, they were still taken advantage of, because to them, the other people, they were less than
even still free.
Even still, okay? And so Grandpa would go into the fields at night and he would glean the fields, which was potatoes and this and that. Now, to glean the fields meant that the farmers could not take everything out of the field. They had to leave some things in the field for the poor people. But the poor people was not you or I. The poor people was the white poor people.
There you go.
Let's just keep it real. And for us to go in the field to take anything meant that we were stealing. Okay, so Grandpa would go in the field and steal, as they would call it, as they say, the potatoes and what have you. And he would go and find eggs and sugar cane, and he brought it back to Grandma. And Grandma made a pie. This was Grandma Sophie told me that her mother made a pie. And when Grandpa came in from, I guess, his daily activity or hiding or just trying to gain more for his family, he took the pie and he lifted the pie up and he called it a freedom pie because no longer will his family or his generation or his children will be in slavery. He said he would die first before he allowed them to put us back into slavery. And so that's how the freedom pie came into existence. Now, each generation does it just a little differently. My mom made freedom pie a little different from me, so I enhance it. My children enhance the freedom pie. I put nuts in the pie to show hardship. I put sweet pineapple or raisins in the pie to show the sweetness of life. Because even through the hardship, God has brought us out.
Absolutely.
And God has given us also the sweetness of life.
And he's continuing to do that. He is continuing to do that. His will never waver. I mean, it continues to give on, as they say, the just and the unjust.
Absolutely.
100%. And he has certainly have been doing that with your family, but certainly with you, Miss E, because where I've missed you at, I'll tell you this. Shout out to Selena Johnson, one of my good friends. When seeing you on Sister Circle and doing segments and cooking with Miss E in those segments, do you miss doing that with sisters? I know, of course, Sister Circle, shout out to them. They ran a good marathon. But you being on that, is there any kind of desire to want to do that on screen again? Because, I mean, shout out to the girls, but I was really tuned in a lot of times more when you would come on and have your interactions with the girls. And
well, I'm going, so it's okay. I'm going.
Who are you going with?
Oh, I'm going with Tamar, Logan, Tony, Denham, Diesel, Tawanda, Brookie, and Braxton.
Okay, so the family.
The family. Okay, did you want me to say family? Yeah. Okay, so we got that all spread it out,
okay,
right?
So what's next?
Okay, now we put the pineapple.
Okay.
Spread that
So
in.
this is crushed pineapple.
Crushed, yes.
Now, let me ask you a question. Can we put like pineapple rings?
You can put pineapple rings. You can put whatever fruit you like. That's what you put in your yum yum cake.
Now, I noticed that these are a little dry, so did you... Did you strain them?
Yes, you want it dry.
Okay.
Because, with pineapple, it has a lot of water.
Mm-hmm. Can I have a little bit more, though? You buying it?
No, I'm not buying it.
Lord have mercy.
I bought it already, so we'll put it right here.
Okay.
Just be natural, because, hey, it's television, but, hey, Miss E is coming as her authentic self. So do you miss that?
I do. I do miss that. I would love to have a cooking show because for me, cooking describes life. Cooking is life.
Yes.
And whatever recipe you fix, you can see life in it. Mm-hmm. There's a story in it. Mm-hmm. And so I love telling stories while I am preparing a meal.
And singing too. I hear that you do a good hum, a good run when you sing. When you cook, I hear that you do a little quick hum when you sing. When you're cooking too. Does that also enhance the flavor and the result of what you bring to the table and bringing that family connection? Do you think that harmonizing has to, and I think you've been doing it since your mother done it too.
Yeah,
it's a generational thing.
Yeah, it's a generational thing. And I'll tell you another thing, baby. When I have a lot on my mind, I will hum. And the girls will say, oh, God, you humming again, mommy? Because this is the way of life for me. If you called and asked me, say, Mom Braxton, can you pray for me? Absolutely. And after I finish talking to you, I'm humming. I'm humming because I know that whatever you need, God is going to supply that. Yeah. So what I'm doing, I'm singing praises to God. You don't always have to open your mouth, but the song, the song, melody that's deep down on the inside, it just have to come up some kind of way, even with me humming. And so I just hum a lot. I love it.
So nobody gonna sit down tonight at all. That's all right with me, child. Don't remember the good time. Don't even know it. Are you ready? Here we go.
I recently took my mom to celebrate her 60th birthday, my Mama E, in Vegas this past week to see Anita Baker, and that's just humming. I think when it's a songbird, it's something about that tone. We all have a beat. We got the heartbeat. We all got a drum in us, and I think it's music. It's going to resonate. It's going to come through the food, but it's also going to speak to the spirit.
Spirit. And the word of God told us to sing praises unto the Lord. Let everything that have breath.
Yes.
Praise. Your praise may be different from mine. Mine may be different from yours, but nevertheless, out of the heart brings the issue of life. And so that's just who I am. So when I cook, like my buffins, my famous buffins, I put a lot of love in it.
Mama, yeah, I'm standing back because when you said muffins, and I'm also thinking about just one more tree. Again, people get the book. I don't want to tease people with all these recipes, but these famous mayonnaise biscuits, I've never heard of it. I told you I'm from Chicago. We got deep dish pizza and pizza puffs. You come with these mayonnaise biscuits, Mama, and I might have to knock at your door. Tell me about these biscuits, because this is a long history again with tradition built inside of it. I hear everybody fans out when they come over.
Yeah, my mom made these
mayonnaise biscuits.
Mayonnaise biscuit, and I'm telling you, those things melt in your what?
It's like mouth.
Now, with the mayonnaise biscuits, I have enhanced them a bit.
My mouth is watering.
Yeah, each generation should enhance what they are taught so they can pass it on. You keep the original recipe, you pass it from generation to generation to generation. I don't want my mom's legacy to die. I want it to live forever, for God's sakes.
Mama E, I'm going to pause there. I'm going to pivot because that was my question number 5. You just asked it by saying it with your legacy, and shout out to your staff with Penn Legacy. I love your staff. They're very, very warm people in Penn Legacy. I was going to ask you, what do you want your legacy to be, Ms. Braxton? Because you wear many hats. I want to quickly get into some other entrepreneurial things you're doing to share with my listeners about those things, because you're not just cooking, you're not just a mom, but also, I mean, what legacy do you want to leave?
A legacy that I would like to leave is that my living was not in vain. I want to help. I want to show people. I want to be there for people. You know what I'm saying? That's going through a crisis, because, baby, everybody have a story to tell.
Absolutely.
Okay. Some stories are greater than others. But if I could just be a listener, just to be there to encourage them, to let them know, listen, sweetie, tomorrow is coming. Okay, we can't do anything about yesterday.
Absolutely.
Yesterday is far gone. And it's already spent.
Yes.
But today.
Yeah. Mama E, I paused and I clapped also in excitement, because it's a tagline from my brand. It's a brand new day. I don't know if you can see this at the bottom, but that's been in my mantra and my slogan of business, been in business for over 11 years and running this podcast. That's the mantra. A lot of people want to say, hey, how do you get through it, Ken? I mean, what's the motivation? Really knowing what you just said. It's a brand new day. I mean, today isn't promised, but if you get it tomorrow, just take advantage of that second for sure. So I'm sorry, I got excited when you started to talk about how the next day is a way maker for a new day and for a new beginning, a new opportunity.
A new beginning.
Yes,
I have an organization called God Can Heal the Heart. And I was telling Michelle, one of my staff, that, you know what? God is laying on my heart to really, really work this organization. Years ago, I did, but somehow or another, this came, that came, But God can heal the heart. It doesn't matter what you're going through with. It doesn't matter what you've been through with. For God's sake, you only have a short time.
Hey.
People think, oh, we'll be here forever. Oh, I'm invincible. No, you're not. I got news for you. Just like you're young, how old are you?
36.
I was there one day too. Guess what? Time.
Yes.
Time have a way of moving you on and moving you out.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's up to you to use it wisely. Okay? There, you know what? Years ago, I spoke about moving from one point in your life to another point in your life. Okay. It's up to you what you do with your life. Nobody owes you anything. You owe it to yourself to be the best that you can be. And go ahead, baby.
Mama, you got me shouting all in my head. I can't compose myself. I'm holding the seat. But what's coming to mind, because you're giving so much knowledge to my viewers. And again, Ms. Braxton, thank you so much for joining this episode. And I think this is a great finale for season 4. But what has been the greatest advice given to you? I'm sure over the years you've gotten so much, advice, and you've experienced. You've actually my age, and you've been here before, so you've experienced. But what has been the greatest advice that you've been given?
The greatest advice that I have been given was by my mom, and I'll go back to it. There's no one greater than you except God.
Yes, ma'am.
And as long as you keep that in your mind, you can make it through anything. You can obtain anything you want to. Now, here's the problem. When you start thinking that someone's greater than you, I mean, where can you go? Because you think somebody's greater than me. Absolutely not. I don't care how much education they may have. And I honor that because it took discipline to get where you are. I don't care how much money. Again, it took discipline to be where you are. However, that's for them. And I'm proud of them. I honor them. But at the same token, we all have the same basic needs.
Absolutely.
We have to eat. We have to wash our bodies. We have to go to the bathroom. And when we die, we die. Life stops. So you're not going to do any more than I can do. So I tell people, do what you need to do for you. Just keep God first.
Keep God first
in your life.
Thank you.
You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I heard someone say that ego, because it sounds like that's what you're saying, having that idea that maybe someone else is better than you or you're trying to compete with someone else. I often call that ego. And I heard someone say that ego, the acronym is etching God out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That you're etching God out when you use and really move in ego, because you have to silence your ego. And I know that as a flesh, we're living in this time, and certainly in this time where social media and people are monitoring their success based off the likes, the comments, and the shares and what have you. I mean, it's a funny place to be in, but really watch the ego, because that certainly can strike. Before you get up out of here, Miss Braxton, every time.
You're going to put me out.
I'm going to put you out. No, actually, I'm not putting you out, because I want to go back to what I was talking about. You wearing many hats.
Okay.
You were doing the eyebrow thing. I want to know if you're still doing the eyebrow thing. I know that you was also working online speaking with you if you had advice. So catching up with Miss E, sipping tea. Are you still doing these different types of things? Because you're giving back to people, as you said, and you got your hands in a couple other products. So more than cooking you're doing. Are you still doing any of that still?
Well, absolutely. The eyebrows are still out there, for God's sake.
Not for me, but for certainly my viewers, though. Do it again, Miss E, because I don't know if people caught it.
Well, the eyebrows are certainly there, for God's sake. But I had to take a break from the podcast for a minute because of my daughter, Tracy. You know, I
and my condolences
went to Washington. Thank you. And I was there for her. You know, it's a time for all things. But, and she would want me to go back to doing what I need to do. And I am, by the grace of God. Matter of fact, we are setting things up already. How about that? So
watch out. Call.
Okay.
No, I'm going to be on it. I need you. Are you having guests? Can I come on and say hello?
You're going to be one of them. Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, you're one of my guests. You're one of my babies now. How about that?
There you go. Shout out to Sharon, my soror. And I mean, you have a great team, and I would love to join you on your podcast. And Miss E, you are continuing to do things. And as I say, you are a finesser. That's someone to me, by definition, that prevails, that continues to see the next day as an opportunity. Yesterday's scores don't win today's game. So they understand that even if they are successful for many years, that the next day is still not a day that someone else knows about. Someone probably just seen me for the first time that's watching this, and they're probably just being introduced to you, Ms. Braxton. So we have to still continue on branding ourselves and finessing what I say, the game. But for people that are watching this episode, Ms. Braxton, who do you say that person for you? Who is that person that you say that's finessing the game?
Sharon. See this book, and she's not the only one. I understand that. So I don't want anybody's feeling to be hurt.
Talk to our viewers about who Sharon is, because we know who she is.
You know who Sharon. You see this book? This girl worked so diligently with me to make sure that I get this out correctly.
Got it. Get it. Yes. Yes.
And you know what? She's still working with me. I'm like her mom, you know, and she and Tony Morris, they like protect me and they're there for me. They got my, other than my family and my other team, they got my back.
Absolutely.
And so those people, oh my God, they are incredible, because you know what? They want me to win. Now look at God. And you need people like that in your life, because everybody does not want you to win. Now you may have the broadcast, but guess what? There's somebody that's praying against you, baby, and you better know it.
You sound like a helicopter mom.
Well, I'm one of those too.
I want to ask you, because growing up, I'm sure you had to have control, and again, raising 6 kids. But I mean, really, that's what you have to do. My mom, I'm the only child. So she was a helicopter mom. She made sure that, hey, you got to do it because someone else is rooting for your downfall. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but that's life.
That is
what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. So yes, I was they call it a helicopter mom now. I just said I was a mom, being a mom, making sure my kids were safe, because there's some vultures out there. Everybody doesn't love the welfare of your soul, sweetie. I can tell you that.
Absolutely.
You know, and so I tried to, you know, guide and lead them in the right direction. They wanted to sing and they called me Joe Jackson, you know, but you have to practice your craft, for God's sake. Just like you have to be the best that you can be. How about that?
Absolutely. How about
and you know where you want to go with your craft. Am I not right?
Absolutely. You're absolutely
correct. There's always somebody that's trying to outdo you. Think about it now.
Talk to me, Ms. Braxton.
You don't have to eat a whole cow to know it's beef. You already know it.
We're not going to talk that you're a preacher's kid and you just dropping this gospel on us in this whole episode too. Preacher kid, how was that? I want to ask you, was that difficult? The pressure still is on preacher kids. You were a preacher kid, Mama E. Was that kind of tough for you growing up?
That was very difficult, but guess what?
Yeah.
I pastored for many years myself.
Yeah. You also a first lady.
Yeah, I was that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a first lady. I was a pastor, you know.
A lady of many.
I was a mother, you know, I was a cook.
Yes.
You know, you name it. You name it. I tried my hand in everything.
And it still makes sure you hold your hands on those utensils and keep cooking. And again, Mama, if I'm in Atlanta, I'm knocking at your door. I'm calling up some folks. I know some people in our circle. So I would like to be invited over and get some mayonnaise biscuits, some of this freedom pie. You don't have to force me to take a slice.
You're going to love it.
I promise I'll eat it.
Yeah. You know what it's made out of, sweetie?
Potatoes.
White potato.
Yeah, I know it. I'm in the book.
Freedom pie. So you guys have to get the book. So you can run down all of these recipes, because there are some great recipes in this book. Not only that, everything is not fast food or heavy food, but if you can be a diabetic, you'll be able to eat the food, the recipes that are in here. If you just like vegetables, no meat, that's in here. So it fulfills whatever you need.
I cannot wait to continue to try. My wife, she's probably getting on my nerves. I'm like, can we try this one tomorrow? No, I am excited about this book. I wish you so much more success, as you were saying, and continue to wear many, many different hats. Ms. Braxton, it's been an honor, a privilege, a pleasure to have you on to final out and close out this season 4 of the Finesse Media Podcast. You got to come back for season 5.
I will do that. Thank you so, so much. And you continue to grow. You continue to let God use you. You continue to show your talent. Be who you are, the best that you can be. And I am just so happy for you. And I will continue to pray for you because we have to pray for one another.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of people say, oh, she's being religious. No, I'm just being me.
Being real and being you. And that's what we have to do. And I don't know why people shy away from that. We have to. We have to, again, pray for each other. Pray for each other. I love the song that say, as I minister to you, I minister to myself.
Minister to myself.
Amen.
And you give your mom my love and tell her she done good.
Hey, she watches this show. She watches every week. She's a huge supporter. So she hears you and she sees you, Ms. Braxton. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you again to your team. They're amazing, very much professionals. And I look forward to working with them in season 5. You guys, you've been watching another episode of the Finesse Media Podcast. You've been watching a whole season of the Finesse Media Podcast with Ken. I'm your host. And closing out this season is the lovely and the well-known and the cook. And I'll be at her house too. Evelyn Braxton, thank you so much for joining the podcast.
You. Mwah. God bless you, baby boy.
Love you too, Mama Braxton. You guys take care, and I'll see you next season. See
you next season.
You the best chef in the family.
Lies. What's your dish? That's why I ain't never frying you a chicken ever again. I ain't chicken no more. Ever. She do. She do make the best chicken in America. Ever.
She got the best fried chicken.
She has the best fried chicken in America. That's a lie. That would be too. That's not true. Whoa. But what had happened was you had passed it down to Tawanda. Now let's keep it real. So what happened? Tawanda has the best
Miss
fried
Evelyn
chicken
say,
in America.
let's keep it real.
Thank you, Tamar.
Period. But that's it, though.
Lies.
That's
a lie.
Now, Tracy can fry chicken really good also. Tracy is an excellent cook also.
Tracy?
I'm the best cook.
No, the lies.
What you talking about? Tony. Tony,
the best cook.
That will not be you. You're very
Tony, you have no salt.
None.
Pepper.
Zero. No flavor.
Salt is cheating.
No, it's cheating.
Salt is cheating.
It's easy to salt anything.
You put salt and peppers up. Listen,
I do. I marinate.
No, Trina says that Tony.
Hey, Ma, you're going to need a lip or two.
No.
After she cook.
Trina says Tony presents everything on a spoon.
Yes, all right, Tamar.
Well, what
That's all right.
Let me tell you what happened. I will never go to the house for holiday.
It's
me
and
no, Miss Evelyn. I'm hearing this. Miss Evelyn.
And
then
me.
it's her.
Me and Tamar tied.
No, we're not tied.
Lies.
You and Tamar tied. Tamar, can you cook?
She can cook.
Absolutely.
Tamar can
I
cook.
promise you got to take a Crestor after you eat because it's so rich and buttery and a pound of butter.
You got to take a Crestor.
You got a Lipitor or a Crestor.
This has been another edition of the Finesse Media Podcast. Join us again next week for the latest news from HBCUs. Special guest